Hi everyone, welcome to another Disney Infinity 3.0 tutorial. As you'll see, I'm using Hawkeye today, and I've managed to track down one of the power discs that makes him look like that, and I have to admit he does look good. This clip basically follows on from my Team Deathmatch. So if you've just seen that one I've just posted, this is to show you how to create kill streaks and how to trigger extra enemies to appear and stuff to defend you. So I'm just going to go through that. So it's basically following on where that last one finished off. So I'm jumping straight into where we left it. So you'll find here we had our enemy wave generator. Yeah. And we had it that when the game starts, it spawns enemies on one side and one on the other. So there's two teams worth of enemies. Yeah. And we have this logic gate that says when the enemy's dead, can you respawn the enemy? So it's an endless wave of enemies coming again and again and again and again on the screen. And this is mirrored on both sides. Okay, so what I want to do for a kill streak, and that's the idea of Call of Duty, a kill streak, what I need to track how many enemies that we've done. And so you'll see I've configured away with a number of different enemies on here, but I want to record how many times they've done on the screen. Now, on the Call of Duty, that's the one thing I couldn't do. I couldn't get 15 kill streaks. I was lucky if I get 5, yeah? So we've got two different types of enemies, okay, and they're mirrored either side. So this is one enemy, which is the rebels, and this is the other enemies, which is all the Imperials. So we go down to configure wave. Okay, so you've got to set it up either side. And the weird thing is, so this is the Imperials that appear that are attacking me, and they're the rebels. So these are the ones that I'm killing. These are player 2 section I'm killing, and player 2 will do the other side. So what I need in here is I need a counter, right? And this counter is quite straightforward. This counter is going to record how many enemies I've killed. All I've got to do is find it. So in my creativity toys, I'm going to create a counter. Okay? And that's going to record this particular option. Now the next option I need from here, let's go to properties of this. That's going to call. We can increase the properties from there to be 1, 2, or 3. So you could make it 10, however hard you like it to be. I'm going to keep it really easy, and I'm going to set to my kill count to 3. Okay, once I kill 3 of their enemies, or if my teammate kills 3 enemies, can you do it? And in my particular game, I've got a scoreboard up, so I don't want to confuse the matter, so I'm not going to display that on the screen. Now, when we get that enemy defeated, so it's not the whole wave though. So what we're looking at, we're going to look at the new logic connection. So new logic connection on this enemy, it's not when wave's defeated, it's when an enemy's defeated. So I've got 15 enemies done, so I just want to count every time it's done. So I said, right, when an enemy is defeated, can you increment that counter by 1? And it'll just go up, and when it gets to 3, so you kill 4, it'll reset and go back to 1, 2, 3 again, and carry on going on and on throughout the screen. So that now tracks my death rates, how much it's going across. Now the following bit of logic shows you how you can get a number of stages to occur at different stages. And if those that have done a survival game, they wanted to create a wave 1, a wave 2, this is an ideal opportunity to do that as well. So look at the logic of this and you can see how you can reuse this. I'm going to create 3 logic gates. Okay, now if I wanted more stages to it, I could do 4 and 5, and I could just continue it on as many stages as I want. Wave 6, wave 7, wave 8. Okay, you can change this a lot. Now I'm doing it on kill streaks, but we could do it on waves. Okay. So what I'm going to do is on the first one, on our first kill streak, you're going to get an enemy generated. On the second one, you're going to get another lot of enemies generated. And on the third one, if you've had so theoretically it's 3, 3, and 3, so you've killed 9. I want a vehicle to appear. So I'm going to go to my toy origins, and I'm going to go to the Avenger playset, and I'm going to get the vehicle summon toy where I want a vehicle to appear. Okay. So this is the logic for this particular part. Okay. So once we've reached our target, so when target reached, we've killed 3. Yeah. What I want to do is I want to input a signal into this gate. Okay. So it says we've done 3, and there, if that's the case, I would like us to generate a wave. So new logic connection on output. Can you generate that wave? And in a moment we'll configure that in a moment. But can we generate waves? That's that done. Yeah. That's easy enough. Now when that wave's generated, we've done that stage has been done. So I'm going to say when wave generated, can we actually, not defeated by the way, generated, when we've actually done that, can we close that gate? By closing that gate, it stops it going on. So when we have a kill streak of 6, we've done 3 and another 3, it will then say, right, when it's blocked, can we do stage 2? So new logic connection. Alright. When we go into that particular part, can we then say input a signal into there when it's blocked? So when input blocked, can we input a signal? And on that one, new logic connection on output, can we generate the next wave? Simple as that. Yeah, and I did something very similar with the Jabba the Hutt's palace one. Okay, but we're going to generate the wave on that particular option, and now the same option appears when that wave is generated. Can we close this gate? So now when we've done the 3, that does the wave, then we do another 3, we do that wave, and we do another 3, we get to our final vehicle stage. So when input blocked, can we input a signal? And basically you can keep this going up for different ways as you go on. So you can have different waves of enemy appear, or in this case I'm doing kill streaks, so it benefits the other person. Yeah, we're going to call in reinforcements. And in this case, when we get to if you kill 9 without dying, then what happens there is you get to generate a vehicle, and a vehicle appears. Okay. Now once that's happened, I want to reset it. So the last one on the list, the last one, has to go back and reopen all the doors. So this one never gets closed because it just gets through. But when it gets down to here, is we've gone the end, we've gone full cycle. Let's go back to the beginning. So I'm going to do on output. Can we open that door back up? Yeah, and same thing on output. Can we open that door up? Now it's really quite simple, but that simple logic will allow you to have a series. Now if you want wave 15, wave 20, you can move that all the way across and have different things that trigger those occurrences to happen. Right, and see if that helps. Yeah. So now what we could do is going to configure the wave. So that's it done, and I can configure the wave to how I want it to appear. Now I'm going to obviously make it a little bit more flash because I want one of the waves to come out from the Star Destroyer. Now, one little thing here is in my previous clip I showed you this point here, and that tracks your death. Yeah. And when that is blocked, so when that input is blocked, we know that you're dead on the screen. Okay. Now what we're going to say is that if you've died, what I would like you to say is, right, if that's the case, you just died, your kill streak is over. So can we reset the counter? Can you actually reset the counter? So if it was, say, 10, it's going back to 0. That loses my kill streak. Yeah? But at the same time, I could have gone halfway through those doors. So on the same issue, on input blocked, I need you to reopen all those doors because I don't know where I am on those sides. So on there. That's right. So can we open all those doors? And I have to do that 3 times. Now, as I was saying, as I nearly forgot that particular part, is we could just have the enemies appearing. I've got these 2 AT-ATs either side, so therefore I want these to be like reinforcements that have occurred, the doors to open. So I'm going to take that to the next stage now, where I could just have them appear. That'd be great. But I've got these AT-ATs there for a reason, and these AT-ATs are going to open the doors now and get those items to appear on the screen. So I'm going to show you how to do that bit. Okay, so now we've got the resetting, we've got the options, so I need the enemies to appear on the screen. So what we're going to do now is I need to create where are my enemies going to appear. So I'm going to use some locators, and I'm going to get them to appear on that side of the screen. Yeah, so you'll see the various little items I've got. You see I'm flying around here like a yo-yo at the moment. Right, so let's. I can't do any locators at a particular moment because I've got to pick those screens. So let me configure this wave. Now remember, this is me killing their enemy, so these are the benefits that I get, right? So I'm going to use some jetpack guys. So I'm going to use the Guardian Galaxy heroes here. I'm going to have them appear. I'm going to have 3 of those if you do it. Now, if the Imperials get me 3 times, they're going to have 3 Mandolin guards. Anyway, 3 Boba Fett guards that appear. I can never pronounce these words, as you've probably gathered in my many clips, so don't all shoot me. Right, so let's go through here. I need some locators. If I don't know where I was going with that one, let's just scroll back up. Creativity Toys, where are you? Okay, now I need to create 3 locators because I've got 3 enemies. I could just use the one I want, but they just end up landing on top of each other. Right, in this, I'll connect this wave to this list. Now, one thing you've seen that I've done while I collect these locators, I've chosen my characters, I'm all happy, but I've forgotten to change the properties of that enemy wave to say which team it's on. Right, and I need to state that it's the blue team on this side, and when I do repeat this again for the other side, it needs to be the orange team. I keep forgetting to do that, but I'll show you that in a moment. So I've got these 3 enemies to appear, which is brilliant. Yeah. So now I'm going to position these where I want them to go. So I can grab those, pick them up, and I can move those across. If I click on X on there, grab that, and I can now position where I want that to appear. And so this here is going to appear on this side, because this is on my side, remember. This is one thing you have to realize. When I kill their enemy, I'm going to get the bonus. So these troops are going to appear on this side of the screen. This is why you think it's the one behind it. It's not. It's the opposite. If we kill people, then the stormtroopers are losing. Therefore, it's player 1 that benefits from it. Yeah. On the other side, we're going to do when my men die, then player 2 benefits from it. And sometimes you may do it the wrong way round, that you've got them on the wrong side. So make sure that it's when the orange team is dying, the blue team gets the reinforcements, because we're extra on, because we're really good at it. Now, as you'll see, I'm placing them on the flaps of the doors. Yeah, the doors are already open, and I want them to appear on the side of the ring. I don't want them to appear inside the attack, otherwise they get lost. So you'll see here, I'm bringing them back. I'm putting them on the side of the doors. Now, obviously, when we start this game, I'm going to close those doors, so they won't be there. But these guys are going to appear on the outside. Otherwise, if you leave them 2 out, they won't see the battle, and they just tend to sit there. Okay, so I'll just stick those there. Right, so that's where they're going to spawn out there at this particular moment. But we want the doors closed because we want them cleared on the screen. So, when we start a new game, so go into my Game Maker tool, a good thing to do is when we start, can we have those doors closed? So, new logic connection. On game start, can we close the doors of that attack? Yeah, so I'm going to say close the doors of that and do close. Now, while I'm here, I might as well remember to do it on the other side, so I'll do the same on the other side as well. So if I go down here, I'll do the other side for player 2 as well. New logic connection. When game started, can we close both doors? So they will be shut close, so you can't go into them. Right, so that one's done. Right. Now, obviously, once we get the input to this signal here, so when we get to here, before I tell it to generate the wave, we know that we're going to go and do that very second. So what I'm going to say is, when we do logic connection, when on output, which means, yep, we're going to generate the wave, can we actually go back, and instead of closing doors now, I want to open doors. So I'll tell it the doors to open, and then it will fire the signal to the wave generator, which the enemies will now appear on top, which is quite cool. Yeah, so I'm going to tell that to the doors to open on the screen. Yeah, so that'll fire the signal. Yeah, that will do the counter. Now you could do a counter change. What I would tend to do on here actually is not that when it's resetted. When does that get reset? When does the whole thing happen? So actually it's when you die. And if, like I say, my other clip says this point here is when you die. So I could do here is when input is blocked, you've died, can you close those doors? Yeah. So it does like an auto reset. Now you can just leave them open if you wanted to, so they just stay there. But at least then the other player can see that the troops haven't started. Okay, so that's my first wave. Alright, my second wave now, I'm going to do a second wave now. Second wave, I'm just going to have them scattered anywhere in the box, okay? Alright, before I do that, that's the bit I forgot to do. I forgot to change the team. So you can have a delay time on there, but the team I set to none, I must change the name. So luckily I pointed that out before I spotted it, which is good. So change the name to, this is the blue team. And then we'll do the other wave here. So we go across to the other one. And on the other one, I'm going to make it harder. So you've got 6 kills. So you could say, well, are they a different type of guard? Or I can make it a harder level guard. So in this particular case, I'm going to go to my configure wave, and I'm going to give them a lot harder beast. Because on the Imperial side, they're going to get the battle droids. But in our case, I'm going to give them a big monster to deal with. Now I'm testing it. I think probably I would, on the final version I play around with, I think I just keep Stormtrooper troops. I don't put any big monsters, but I'm going to give him a big hefty guy. But on my final version, because obviously this is a demo, on my final version I think the kill streak was 10. And it was seriously trouble getting 10. Jessica sadly could kick my butt on that one, so she'd get them all the time. Okay, now again, locators here. I'm going to chuck these ones. These aren't going to come out of the ATAP. They're going to be scattered over the place. So I'm just going to put these to that option. Now again, this will be the vehicle that we do, and the vehicle is for me. So that vehicle is going to be put outside the player 1's end of the game. Yeah. So I'm just connecting all these to the locator. That's really it. But this simple little step-by-step move will allow you to do wave after wave. So if you notice, I did a clip on survival, and someone asked me, said, well, how do I get wave 1, wave 2, wave 3? This is how you do it. When wave 1 is beat, trigger wave 2. When wave 2, trigger wave 3, and so on. And then you can loop it back, and you can have 15 waves, an endless number of ways, and it can get harder and harder, or do 2 waves. So it's just depending on how you use logic gates. Logic gates are genius. This whole flipping game is genius. I love it. And like I said, I've been playing around with loads of games. I mean, it's been some great games at the end of the year. They really are good, but I still keep coming back to this. It's the most fun I have sat on a couch. There's a good number of play sets and a good 2-player or competing play sets that you can play against each other with a group. So I still find this one quite good. Right, and I'll get the vehicle and I'm going to move that to the far end because that's for the actual vehicle to do. Yeah, so I'm going to grab that. And that needs to go right at the far end, which we've done, because that's to benefit me, and that now gives that person a vehicle. Right, now all I need to do now is repeat all this for player 2, but do the reverse side. And once I've got all that set up, we're ready to go, and then I'll get ready to move all those out of the way. So that's not so bad. We are all done and ready to go. Now, just before I start moving all those items, if you've watched the other clip, you'll have noticed that Jessica totally annihilated me. Yeah, and I hung in there with the Vader clip. So what we're going to do is we're going to chuck in some loot, some additional area. So this loot here will give me the opportunity to get some extra health. I think I went the wrong way here, but on your creativity tools, there's a loot box, and there's variations of these ones that you can do. There's a little screen. So I'm going to scatter these around and put a time limit so I can get some extra health or I get some purple shells. So I'm going to put these, but the thing is, they're available to anybody. So I want to entice people to move around the map. Yeah. So I'm going to put them in locations to get to where I'm going to go, right, get to these places and you can do it. So I'm just going to set these up, and you'll see that these are really low key. There's very little I have to do to configure these. Really quite straightforward and simple. So depending on where I want to place these, I'm going to create more levels, because we were finding when we were doing this test, we were using those quite well, and that helps us to move around the map, gets the game along. So I'm definitely going to create more levels and different layers to it. But if we stick these items on, okay, so we go to these little boxes. If I go to the properties of this, configure loot, what do you want to do when you open up the chest? Okay, and you've got various things. Do you want a weapon or tool? You can have an enemy appear if you wanted to, so you could get it that way. But I want is the purple and the health ones. Now if I just do the purple, it will just be that one, but if I put 2 in there, what it'll do is it randomly pick one or the other options. It will give me one option at a time. Yeah, so that will always give me purple, but if I had another option there, it will give me 2. So if I put green in there as well, it's going to be random one of the options. So not always 100% what you're going to get. You could bake it booby trap and give you an enemy on that setting. So if I do that on all those, configure the waves, to configure loot, add those 2 in. Right, done. That's that. Okay. Now I haven't done the properties of that, so let's get to the last one here. Now actually you'll notice they're all to player 1 side. That's giving me advantage. Hopefully I'll notice that. Jessica won't spot it. So I've got those 2 items on there. So what happens is when you open it up, you get the loot. But if you go to the properties on here, what you can do is you can say, right, the auto reset is on. So if I switch that on, right, how long so once I've done it, so I'm going to switch them all on. So it's auto collect, so it automatically does it. Once I've opened it up, it will do it. Yeah. I'm going to set it for every 30 seconds. Yeah, so let's change that to every 30 seconds. And then I'm going to get it to close the door and reset the items. Yeah, so by leaving those settings on there means when I collect those, that will then open up, get it, and in 30 seconds time the lid will close and there'll be another cells for it. And now I don't have to do any additional logic, that will just do that, and I can have them scattered around in my map for them to work on the system, which is quite handy. And I now just need to repeat that for the other two settings. Yeah, and then we're ready to go and to give that a test. So what's the last thing I did there? Oh yeah, the last thing I did, I moved them around. And just, I'll do one last thing on that before I do the test. Is when you do move them around, yeah, you need to make sure you've got a certain layout. So I'm going to move the other logic that I've set up so they're not lying in the middle of the screen. So I'll do that bit section next. So I've just configured all those. They're all now done. Right. And that's that done there. Perfect. Right, I'll now show you the other part. So a tip here is when you move the logic away to hide it from view, try and still keep it in the sequence that they have followed. So you can see, you'll see that I've broken off my enemy wave generator, I've got my counter, and I've got my 3 logic gates. I've tried to keep it so I can still follow and trace that back if I want to add to it or amend to it. It makes my life a little more easier when I look back a week later, a month later, what it's trying to do. If you just bung them all together, it gets messy. So I tend to keep those grouped together, and that is for player 1, and I've gone the exact same side for player 2. Yeah, so it's quite handy to do that. But just try and keep them tight. It makes your life a little bit easier. Right, while I jump around and go a little dizzy, let's give it a test and see what you think. Also, just before I start, I just like to put a correction in, because I believe I called him Hawkeye at the beginning, and he's not actually, he's the Falcon. Like I said, I get mixed up all the characters' names, but this is, the costume he's wearing is a power disc, and they are extremely rare to get hold of, so if you can track those down, they're quite good. But I have to say, why they didn't make him look like this from the start instead of his red outfit, because he is looking awesome. Yeah, we think he's really cool. This is where they should have done him. I know he matches the cartoon and the book side, so having both is quite good, but you got to admit that does look pretty cool. Right, so let's use him and let's see if we can get this thing to work. So let's run down and jump down. You'll notice in some of my clips I do muddle my words up. It's because when I have to do the voiceover it's very late at night, so I don't get any background noise. Right, so this is the game. Obviously it's just single player, and someone always says, can you do it in 2 split mode? If you're doing 2 player, no, it's not the same scenario, so it doesn't. I haven't found a way of doing that anyway. And also you'll notice I've that ceiling, because he's a flying guy, he can't go through, so he has to go through. I force him to go through my doorway. Now as you'll see, I've got troops. Now because they're on my side, they're fighting, and if you look there, the AT-AT was also, the doors are closed. If you look, the doors are closed, so the game has started and closed doors are both set. So I need to kill 3 people, or my guys need to kill 3 people for those doors to open. So I'm just going to hang around here, looking pathetic, but that's not because I am, that's just so I can show you the doors. So let's kill him, we're going to get there in a moment. How many done? How many done? 2, come on. Yep, there's the doors opened, excellent. Now hopefully I'm going to see some guys turn up, I'm hoping. Let's get around here. Right, let's drop down. Let's get some loot while I'm here. Excellent, so the loot works, so I can get some of my extra weapons. So let's try and get another kill down. Quite a few of those. It's quite handy, I'm getting quite a bit of damage on this screen. Right, should have got a few. So I should now some of the giants have occurred on the screen, so a quick nosy. And my giants have turned up, so I've got kill string. Now, because it's to do with the enemies fighting against each other as well, they also got a kill string. So you'll see that the other AT-AT doors have opened as well. Now I've done it 3 purely on the thing, just to show the example. I would have done it higher, yeah. And as you can see in the gameplay, I am not that as good as I look. So let's open these ones up. So I can get that list. Right, now if I fire back to the other one, you'll notice that they should have now closed. So this one I did earlier, that is also closed because the timer was kicked in and switched off. And And that basically adds to the game that I've created. Yeah, they're all fighting away. And if we go to the other attack, we should have the Mandalorian guards. It's very late now, I'm doing this. But they should appear. And then a few seconds that closes, resets. So it's all going good. Now I think that's the time for me to stop, because I think I'm just going to start talking total drivel. And you're very quick to pick up on those things. So I hope you find this of use. Like I say, I've done a rush game like the Battlefield option, and I've got the logic working on there. I just got to make it look a bit pretty, so I might not do that next. I did say that was going to be my next one, so it might be my Indiana Jones cable car run that I do next, because all I've got to do is the voiceover for that, but that won't be for a couple more days, so you'll have that one soon. But like I say, you'll get a few over the next few days, and then I'll try and go back to try and get them to once a week if I can. It was a very busy end of 2016, so I hope everyone has a good new year. I hope 2017 is good, and fingers crossed something happens to Disney Infinity. You never know. You never know what might happen. Thanks for watching. Catch you later, guys. Cheers.
Put some pressure on it. Should be fine.